Hi, this is Dean Jackson. Welcome to the More Cheese, Less Whiskers podcast. And today I've got Steve Cunningham from Read It For Me. And Steve, I met about 5 years ago when they did a beautiful video summary of the Breakthrough DNA book. And they've got a pretty cool concept. I mean, what they do is they take the world's leading business, marketing, leadership books, and they summarize them into a short, easy to consume video and text. So I really love this concept because it's such a high leverage way to learn and to get the gist, the essence of all of the books and to know which ones you want to kind of dive into deeper. So he's got a great concept. We talked a lot about how to get the word out about this, how we hatched some evil schemes on how to promote a new program they have where you can get a lifetime subscription. They've been selling for years as a monthly subscription or an annual subscription. And now they've got a shift where the whole thing now is about creating a movement, of creating a world full of people who are leading and learning. So I think you're going to really enjoy the process that we go through to hatch these evil schemes. And if you'd like to check out Read It For Me, you can go to readit4.me/more cheese. And there's a special offer for a lifetime subscription. I love this concept. I would love to see you join this program and become a part of the movement. Steve Cunningham.
Gene, how are you?
I am so good. How are you?
I'm great.
Where in the world is Steve Cunningham today?
I am in Oakville, just outside of Toronto, which I assume you know.
I know all about.
There you go. So that's where I am.
Awesome. So I'm excited to hatch some evil schemes with you today. We're already recording. Yeah, we're recording right now. And the whole hour is for hatching evil schemes for Read It For Me. So why don't you give kind of a nice overview of what you do, where you're at, and what kind of evil schemes would be good to hatch today?
Sure. So the business itself takes best-selling business and personal development books and turns them into 10 to 12 minute text, audio, and animated video summaries. Mm-hmm. So our service is geared towards entrepreneurs, all the way from solo entrepreneurs all the way up to the leadership development programs in Fortune 500 companies. We've got customers, on both ends of that spectrum and everywhere in between. And most of our customers use our products to save time in their busy lives. Most of them are growth-minded individuals who already have the desire to learn and just find that their schedule gets too crowded in order to get all the learning done that they want to get done. So we help them get that learning in what we call the in-between moments in their day. Yes.
I love it. I mean, I'm familiar with the whole, the way you did one of our Breakthrough DNA book, our 8 Profit Activators, a few years ago. So that was exciting to see. So how long have you been doing this now?
So the quick version is we've been in business doing Read It For Me for about 6 years, and it was originally designed as a content marketing strategy before anyone called it content marketing for a digital marketing agency that I ran. And it's been a side project for us for about the last 6 years. And in this July, we stopped doing marketing work and we're full-time on Read It For Me. So depending on which way you look at it, we've been at it for 6 years or a few months.
Okay, perfect. And now, what's your goal with it? Where are you hoping to take it? What's your vision?
So we've got a pretty grand vision with this. So I'll kind of give you some backstory in order to kind of describe where we see this going. So in July, we launched what we're calling our lifetime membership plan. And a lot of reasons why we did that, but essentially now we have a plan for people to pay us one time and have access to our library and everything that we add into the library until, one of us dies. So hopefully that's a long, long time away. And our goal now is to sell 1 million of those subscriptions. But there's a couple of reasons why that's a compelling goal for us. The second part of this is that for every subscription lifetime membership that we sell, we are going to give a membership to a student who is, I would say entrepreneurial. And we're partnering with some organizations to facilitate that. And we're also giving a portion of every lifetime membership to charity. And I'm hoping that's part of what we can talk about with our evil scheming here today. But the idea for us is that, if we do well, other people in the world do well also.
Okay. And so what, I often find those kind of proposals that it needs to still make a really good business case for people. Still, like I think sometimes there's some opportunity to why would I do well? It's for the kids. It's for, you know what I mean? Rather than in addition to the inherent value in doing it. So how many books have you done so far in the 6 years? How many are in the library right now?
So we've got about 200 in the library right now. Up until recently, we were doing about one a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. And the reason for that is because we did them all by video. What we found with a lot of our customers was that they were listening to the audio, at the gym, on their commute, while they're waiting to pick up their kids from soccer practice, whatever it was. So we decided to ramp up the production because the text and the audio was fairly quick to do compared to the video, which was very labor intensive for our team. So we've ramped that up to one summary every single day. So the library will be expanding very quickly moving forward.
Wow. So one summary a day. So 365 or is that the goal, 365 in a year or business days? Wow. So that's very impressive then. And were you finding that most people were downloading the audio or listening to watching, reading the text versus watching the video?
As
far as consumption,
the use cases were audio first, video second, and then text third.
Okay, yeah, interesting. It's the same. I always find audio is just such a leveraged thing that fits with what your big win is, that you're kind of condensing time for people. They don't have to read all these books. You're reading them and giving the best. It's kind of the 80-20 approach for getting all the knowledge from these books, it seems like, right?
Yeah, that's definitely what our customers tell us is the big win. Aside from obviously, what they're trying to achieve with that time, which is really what they're after. But yeah, the big win for them is that they get the main ideas in a condensed time frame.
So what is working right now? Describe how your before unit works right now, how you're attracting people. What's the model that you have right now?
So the model that we're working with right now is essentially to grow through partners/affiliates. That we're just starting to dabble in some paid advertising. What we found with this lifetime membership offer was that it was an experiment because we had offered monthly and annual subscriptions up until that point. And the experiment was, will the increase, the hypothesis of increased conversions, would that offset any of the revenue that we're giving up on the recurring end? So, what is the impact on this long term? And what we found was that the conversions were so much higher with this plan that it more than made up for any of the recurring revenue that we would have lost. So we first did that experiment internally. We found a 20% conversion rate from click to purchase on that, which was obviously very good. We did it externally with some other publishers. I don't know if you're familiar with Early to Rise. We did really well with them.
I just had dinner with Craig on Friday night. That's so funny you say that.
Small world.
Yeah.
I actually implemented Craig's perfect day formula, and I've been waking up at 4:30 in the morning for the last month.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
And we actually just did his book, and we're going to be releasing it soon. Small world.
So this is small world.
That went really well for us as well. Not as high as our internal conversions, but way higher than what most people are seeing in terms of conversions, from cold traffic. Mm-hmm. So that made it a lot easier for us to go out and find partners, not only publishers like Early to Rise, but also authors, bloggers, and just regular everyday people who are looking to get a side gig going. So that's really where most of our effort and attention is focused right now, is how do we enable other people to spread the word where we do well, they do well, and then this new part of having a charity do well also.
Okay,
so that's working well.
How do the economics of it work in terms of with the affiliates and the charity? Like, how do you break that down? So if you're finding an affiliate partner, they're going to, I'd like to hear how they go about promoting it, or what the actual offers are, and
Sure.
how the money gets divided up, kind of thing.
Sure. So the lifetime membership right now, if you go to our website, it's $1,500. We're promoting it. We started off at the price point of $250 for no reason other than we thought that was where we should start. So we believe the right price for this is between $250 and $1,500, and we're going to do some testing on that. So, but as it stands, that's what we are promoting through our partner channels. And the partner gets 25% of the commission on the first tier. We have a second tier where that's 5%. So if you introduce us to somebody who sends, I know you get that, but a lot of people don't understand how that works. They get 5%. And for the charity bit, we're still working that out on the individual end, but for corporate sales, we're giving 25% of any corporate sales back to a charity. And like we can dive into that one a little bit when you want to, but the strategy there is to how do we enable people who are already supporting these causes to help us sell Read It For Me into organizations.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's on the corporate side. So let's focus on the consumer side here. And so, what is the current price? Is $1,500? Is that kind of what you're looking at, or is it you're testing still in between there, somewhere between $250 and $1,500?
Yeah, we don't know what the price that's going to bring us the most profit is at the moment.
Gotcha.
So we're looking for that. We're really happy with what's happening in terms of conversions and how much revenue we're generating at $250, but we think it could be more. So we're testing higher price points.
Yeah, part of the appeal of these lifetime memberships is the in cash influx. You get all the money now, but you end up you have all that money is burdened with a future delivery. And so from an accounting standpoint, that's still a bit of an issue, but I imagine it just kind of puts you're productizing in a way a building recurring delivery, because you're continually having to produce the new content. Have you done all the projections and stuff going forward for that compared to the monthly model?
Yeah, so we did the projections, and basically what it boils down to is we when taking a look at conversion rate plus customer lifetime value, what we've done was actually generate more profit, and we get it all now. So while we do
I see what you're saying, that the longevity of people paying $24.99 a month for, if your average was less than 10 months, even at $250, you're already getting more from.
Yeah. So
I gotcha.
Yeah, so we put this offer in front of 100 people today and sold them a monthly subscription, and we put this in front of another 100 people and sold them a lifetime subscription. The lifetime would bring us more money overall, and it would bring it to us right now. So
your best offer. That's great.
Yeah, so it does have the burden, like you said, of we don't have recurring revenue, but it is something that you can take that money and put it in the bank and all that kind of good stuff. So we just need to be conservative about how we grow the business and how we take on expenses, of course. But overall, the offer is better.
Yeah, and it's like something that's gonna continue, because people are still gonna continue to write books. There's always going to be the top books, but that's quite a pace. 365 books a year. There's lots of them. So when you're looking at going to a partner for this, what are you looking for in a partner? Somebody who has an entrepreneur list, a marketing list, personal development list. What's your target audience here?
I think the answer is yes. And the
readers.
We find
anybody who's reading business books, right?
Yeah, I would. The way we would describe it is anybody who's a growth-minded individual who's looking to grow themselves personally and professionally, and is busy, which is everybody. We've found that different segments will convert at different rates. Interestingly, our hypothesis was that people in the the sales and the marketing space would have a higher conversion rate because they're interested in time is money for them. But what we found was our highest converting segment is people who are interested in personal development. So. But they all convert well, but our main focus right now is how do we get in front of as many people in the personal development space as possible, even though most of our content is business related and not personal, not books you'd find in the self-help section at a bookstore. So those are the answer is we're looking for all those types of segments, basically the audience for the books that in the categories that we produce.
Okay. And then what is the offer? How does that start out now? What's the sort of the offer that the affiliate partner would send to get to introduce this to somebody? They've never heard of it. How do you get them to opt in, or to do you just present them the offer and they buy, or do they opt in for something or get a free trial, or what's the process?
Sure. So when we started off in July with this, it just went so well for us that we just started asking our partners to send it directly to the same landing page that we had been sending it to, except it's their landing page. So we'd customize it with the name of the partner. So if it was for Early to Rise, for instance, it would say, Early to Rise. So that is how we're getting today traffic to people. Some people end up actually clicking through on the logo and taking a trial because they want to check it out. But the main driver is directly to the offer. We're just about to start testing giving away different lengths of trials instead of sending people directly to the offer and putting them in an autoresponder. But we don't have any data on that yet as to whether or not that's going to work better or worse.
I gotcha. Okay, so right now it would be the affiliate partner sending a specific email, driving people to a page that just explains what you do and makes the offer for $500 or whatever the number is.
Exactly.
Okay, and no, they either buy right now. That's the thing. You're not getting an opt-in or
so there's
trial. They just buy and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm sure there's a better way to do it, but the numbers that we've been seeing in terms of conversion are just so high that we've had in the past more trouble getting an email address than we do getting a sale today. So it's just we're just in kind of this weird mode of this is working, so let's not break it.
That's so awesome. Good for you. So the describe the kind of offer on the page, or what do they see? I can put a link up to the page for people, or we can have a More Cheese, Less Whiskers page if we'd like.
Sure. Why don't we do that?
Yeah,
absolutely. So we'll set up a page. It'll be read it for me / More Cheese, Less Whiskers. And what you'll see when you go to the page, it'll say a special offer for friends or subscribers, however you want to word it, of More Cheese, Less Whiskers. And then it would say a lifetime membership to Read It For Me for $250, regularly $14.99. Then there is about a 40-minute video sales letter, which I've got many emails of people saying, I have never watched a 40-minute video before, but now I have. So it's literally just a headline, a video, call to action, a couple testimonials that we have from Tony Hsieh and Dan Pink, another call to action, and that's it. And that's it.
And that's such boy, when you know how certain times it's like, I often, with pricing things, I'll often look through do you ever see on The Price is Right when they had that the mountain climber game, the yodeler game, where the price keeps going, the guy's climbing up the mountain and it's yodel doodle 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 yodel doodle doodle, and as soon as you have to guess what the right price is, kind of thing. I have this mental thing in my mind where that's how I often look at things. And when you say that, a $250 seems like that's this makes total sense. I should buy this today. That's a complete win. You're going to get you get 200 books that are already in there, and you get a book a day for as long as you continue doing it. That seems like that is a no-brainer. That makes total sense. So I can see why people would do that. And so you're completely happy initially on that round. And I think that everybody who's got an audience of people who would benefit by being a reader or learning, that's really, you're separating the reading from the understanding. That's where the real leverage is, that they're buying from Concentrate the lessons and the big ideas from the book without having to invest the time, the 4, 5, 6 hours that it might take to read a book, or even to read a book, even more to read a book and then go back and summarize and encapsulate the best lessons from it. So I think that's a really good thing. Now, what that's gonna I think lead to is some big opportunities in the During unit for this. So now what do you have in addition to this membership that would be additional ways to add value to this group? You've got subscribers kind of thing, and there's something about the construct of a lifetime membership is that there's no sense of your member role is continually growing. It's never that you've got attrition or you've got churn or having to rebill. There's a lot of administration in, yourself. We're doing it for as long as you have. With the monthly stuff, there's a lot of administration on managing a monthly recurring membership, because in any given time, every month, there are credit cards that are declined and the administration of doing all of that. But what psychologically you have is you never have anybody who said, yeah, I was a Read It For Me member. It's always, yeah, I am. It's like this card carrying, you are a member of that, and people feel like that's an asset that they have. No matter what, this is something every day I'm going to get a new book going forward. It seems like a win-win. But now what you have is this long, growing group of people who are personal development or growth kind of oriented, and you have this relationship with them where you're communicating with them, frequently, every day or every week with the new books that you're delivering. But what else are you looking to do with that relationship? What else are the kind of strategic opportunities that you have with that group? Have you thought about some of that?
Yeah, I've thought pretty deeply about it. So maybe I'll just take a couple of minutes to explain my thinking on it, and I'm sure you'll have lots of great insights for me. So, back to the insight that you just mentioned, that people are members now for life. It's not, you're not making a decision on a month-to-month basis. You're part of the club. So one of the things that we are focusing a lot of our time and energy on is turning those members into, I'm going to give it a name, like our social sales force. So, advocates, but also not just being advocates, but actually going and selling what we're doing to their organizations. And so I've been also thinking a lot about what is what value do we bring to our members? And, I had an insight yesterday, actually, that what we do is help people see their world in a different way during the in-between moments of their day. And, the insights that come from these books, some of these books, I should say, are very easy to explain quickly. And it doesn't need an entire book. If you want to obviously get deep into the idea, you go into it. So I'm going to give you an example of one that impacted me, that's changed the way I think about how we use our customers, to use your language, in the during unit. And it's from a book called Grouped by Paul Adams, who was on the Google Plus team and also on the Facebook team, so growing both of those services. So, obviously he knows a lot about the data behind how do things spread virally. And the common marketing tactic is to go after influencers who have, hundreds of thousands or millions of followers and use that as a marketing tactic. But what he says in his book is that it's the exact opposite. If you want viral growth, it's got to go through normal people. It goes from Sally, who shares it with her friend Sue, who sends it to Bob. Like, that's how you get viral growth. Yes. And if you're not thinking about how do you enable that with what you do, you're not going to get it. So we're spending we're getting a lot of great success dealing with people with large email lists. But we think the biggest win is in taking people who have never considered doing this kind of thing before and turning them into affiliates and partners who do this on a regular basis. So one of the things to go back to your question, that we are doing right now is we're getting those people to A, spread this to their networks, B, bring it to their companies, and C, to purchase gift subscriptions to give to their friends, customers, and clients. So that's the first thing that we're thinking of doing is how do we turn them into advocates, and how do we get the same person to buy more of what we do because they love it so much. So that's the first thing. And we're doing things, we're launching a couple of things where we're enabling our partners to give away, instead of giving away a 7-day trial to Read It For Me, we're going to give them a free month because that's associated with a price on our website. So now instead of appearing like they're promoting something, they're actually gifting something. When it obviously, what we're hoping is that those new people will turn into customers or members. Then on a longer term basis, I see in the next couple of years, there's going to be millions of people becoming entrepreneurs, some of which because they want to, but many or most of which because they have to, because they're going to get fired from their jobs because of outsourcing, artificial intelligence, robots, and the list goes on. So there's going to be this new age of entrepreneurship coming in. And one of the things that I'm super passionate about is doing, like we talked about earlier, doing good through other, through charities, through social causes. And I see this as an opportunity for, to use kind of grand language, to usher in the age of the social entrepreneur. So what we are thinking about is how do we build a community that, not only teaches people how to do the nuts and the bolts of, okay, so you want to do this, what's the best way to partner with a charity? Like, what's the email look like that you send the executive director to have a conversation? Kind of that education part, but also a community of people who are doing it. So that's where we see ourselves replacing that lost monthly and annual recurring revenue with a membership community like that.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. I think that'll definitely have some legs there. And I think that one of the things that you can do to create that is to divide you figure out where the metrics are for your before unit, for your during unit, and for your after unit, because that's really the way that I kind of look at things organizationally, right? Like your before unit right now is all about just delivering people to your during unit, which is the subscription. And so your affiliate model, you've got a fixed cost on that, 25 or 30%, and you're happy with the conversions on that. And I would say run with that as long as you can, because that's kind of an evergreen offer that anybody could have on their own website. Anybody who's blogging or podcasting or doing anything would be, once you set up that affiliate site, it's that will continue to spread, and then looking at every new subscriber that you get, now that you're going to have a lifetime relationship with them, there's no sort of sense of trying to hang on to them or trying to, you have to tease them to keep them interested in next month or any of those kind of metrics. You've got no overhead or thought or administration in, maintaining the membership kind of level of it. It's just they're in. And now the objectives that you have can be much more strategic, where if you look at it, that what are the opportunities that a new member has to introduce other people, just like you were saying, but to set up a scorecard for it in a way where you internally have a metric that is calculating the multiplier index of a new member over let's say that you take the first 60 or 90 days and call that the during unit. Because if you've got a long-term relationship with people, where in the beginning there's a certain period where you want to make sure that people are getting onboarded, that they're consuming, that they're in the right place, but you also want to engage and find out, is this a person that could be an affiliate, and is this a person that is, could, just like you were talking about, introduce individuals to it. Like a lot of the people that are subscribing, I'm sure, would love to have that sort of affiliate opportunity as well. And so when you're looking at the onboarding process, the opportunity would be to determine what somebody's interest would be in something like that. Like to maybe, do you categorize people, as far as what, if you're doing 365 books, is who's curating these, and are there channels that you have, or are there tracks that people like? Is there a sales channel and a personal development channel, a marketing channel, startups? Like, how do you how are you organizing the experience that people have?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we have, you mentioned 4 of them already. So we have one channel for every day of the week. So okay. Monday is leadership, Tuesday is sales, Wednesday is marketing, Thursday is personal development, which is kind of like a catch-all. That's where Craig's book would fit, for instance. Friday is employee engagement. Saturday is entrepreneurship. And then Sunday is what I'm going to call big ideas / social causes. So kind of that social good element of it. So yeah, so we don't bucket people into what they're consuming.
Right.
But I could see that.
Do you observe? Do you have a robust like CRM system that would observe their consumption?
Yeah, so we're taking data on basically everything they do. But I don't have it set up right now to say, okay, this person is clearly in the entrepreneurship bucket. This person's clearly in the marketing bucket. But I think that's a great thing to do.
Yeah, because you're certainly in an opportunity to be you're going to be a pretty influential, membership. When you look at the growth and you look at the opportunity for the numbers of members that you're going to have, and so I would start to think about what else are the things that they would that you would love to have. Like, you're in a situation where you've got the audience and you've got the books, but it might be an interesting thing to be able to create special events or special webinar series or online courses or things that are going to allow people to go deeper with the things that they're most interested in. Like if you have the leadership track kind of thing, to be able to have a leadership summit or with the most popular authors of those. Like you're looking at, as you build this audience, you've kind of got the opportunity to be sort of an Oprah. You could, in a way, launch somebody's book. And when you're thinking about this, because it's such a great value. If you say $250, so it's gone every single time. People are going to, like, I think with myself, I would look at this being a great way to to really select the books that I am going to read. It's almost like a really valuable sort of review service that I would imagine that people reading or listening to or watching the summary of a book that they really get a lot out of might encourage people to buy that book more than
absolutely.
just use it as a instead of buying that book as a way to enhance and know that this is really something worth going deep in. Do you have a rating system for the if you're going to engage those kind of social elements to it? Is there rating a particular book or rating the ideas or commenting on or discussing those things? How are you creating this sense of community with the members?
So basically at this moment, not at all. So,
Okay.
we've done a lot of thinking around that, and because we had this other business that took up the vast majority of our time, we've done a lot of thinking about it, a lot of talking about it, but when it comes down to the executing, haven't done so much of it.
Okay.
But we've considered ratings and comments and all that kind of stuff, but have never got around to implementing it. And I think we'd want to have those discussions again before we did. But what are your thoughts on it?
Well, no, I just think of a sense of that now. If there's multiple layers that add value to this, first of all, you've got the core proposition is that I'm going to get the summary of 365 books, so I don't have to read all of those. And so there's that first layer, but the next layers of that could be the curation kind of level where there's somebody who's guiding this, and the peer level in that the you look at a community type of thing where we can come and can people comment on the books? Do you have a discussion forum, or do you have somewhere where people can talk about the books or the ideas?
No, we don't.
Okay. I mean, and that may be, and again, I'm just looking at like the possibilities as we move into the after unit here, because your business is primarily going to be an after unit driven thing. Everybody, you're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Nobody's leaving. Nobody expires. So the opportunity is to, within that, look for all the other ways that you can continue to add value, to create opportunities, to maybe even because of the memberships that you'll have to organize events that could be specific topic related, whether it's creating online courses that go, or introducing the opportunity for the members to do a course with somebody, one of the authors. So maybe a lot of times the authors have deeper things beyond their book as well.
Yeah, definitely. I've that's one of the things that I learned after getting into this business, was that unless you're somebody like Malcolm Gladwell or maybe Dan Pink, you don't make your money from writing books. And
no,
actually,
that's the idea. Yeah.
So most of them will sell speaking engagements. Some of them will sell consulting, and just kind of the idea that popped in my mind now is, and I've thought about this briefly before, the idea of almost becoming a what's the right word for it? A speakers bureau
Yeah.
for
Okay. Uh-huh.
for the authors, because we have the audience of people who might hire them.
Mm-hmm.
Then we could
Well,
directly
especially if you're
represent
going
them.
in on the corporate level, like what you're saying, that it's part of a benefit program or something that you can go through into an organization, and that's a different channel than the entrepreneurs that you're going at. But everybody, what's going to be the valuable thing for, like, you've got some great advocates. You've got like Tony Shea with the Zappos team, and how do they use it for all of their employees or for their executives or for their management team, or how does a company like Zappos use something like that?
So that was actually the first corporate deal we ever did, was with Zappos. Came from a cold email that I sent to Tony.
Oh wow, good for you.
The model of how we work with companies has kind of shifted, a bunch of times over the last few years. So with them, they bought like a block of content, and then they hosted it on their intranet, and so it's for all the employees to access. But since we've started working with the lifetime offer, and then in between we would sell like seats, like a software company would sell seats.
Yes,
so
right.
Buy a pack of 500 and you pay us X amount annually, and those people have the opportunity to use it. But one of the things that we found was we'd have conversations with them about like who's using it. It's kind of the same discussion you'd have with an individual subscriber, but that would just kind of go on in their mind. So what we did was we came up with, it'd be interesting to get your feedback on this. We've said to companies, here's how it's going to work. You're going to, once you've had a look at it yourself and you like it, you're going to give everybody on your team a 30-day account. And at the end of those 30 days, you're going to ask your team who wants this for life, and the people who raise their hand, you're going to fund it for them. So we found that has taken away a lot of any potential objections that they have, and also gets us into functional units within companies rather than the HR and learning function, where people make decisions quicker, and they are, they can whip out their credit card, for instance, and just say, yeah, we'll do it. Here's my credit card, as opposed to, we got to go through this long, drawn-out process. So that's a long-winded answer to how do we work with companies, but it's changed a bunch over the years.
And so that's really a value add. But let's focus on the consumer side, on the individual people here, and continue talking about some of the metrics. So I started to say, when you look at the dividing a business like this into before, during, and after, you get the clear division on the before of partnering with the bigger affiliates, and you get people in on the $250 lifetime membership, and then treat this first 30, 60, 90 days as the during unit, and then ongoing after that as the after unit. So when we look at it, what I always like to look for is identify what are the strategic opportunities that we have as a result of being in relationship with these people and doing this transaction. So when I do this with real estate agents, for example, if every time they list a house, they've got the core objective, which is to get the house sold and help the people move on to where they're going. But the strategic objective that they have, the opportunity that they have along with that, is that they've got an opportunity to find the buyer themselves for that house. They won't always do it, but they've got that opportunity. They've also got an opportunity to find a buyer that buys another house, maybe not the one that they have listed. They've got the opportunity to get the next listing in that neighborhood, and they've got the opportunity to get a referral from the seller. So what I do is I created a metric that I call a listing multiplier index. And I have real estate agents look at the last 10 listings that they got and calculate out of those 10 listings, how many of the 50 opportunities that they had did they actually get a point for? Remember, so they got the listing sold, they found the buyer, found a buyer that bought another house, got another listing, and got a referral. And when I have them do that, looking back, most of them end up in 10 or 15 total points out of 50, just in looking back at it. And so we take that number and we divide that by 10 to get an index. So if they got 15 out of the 15 points on the last 10 listings they got, then their listing multiplier index is 1.5. So that means that their current system, every time they get a new listing, will yield 1.5 transactions. So I would look at this the same way and use that as a metric there in your during unit, that first 30, 60, 90 days, to identify what are the strategic opportunities that you have along with that one lifetime membership. So you've got an opportunity to sign someone up as an affiliate to promote to their list or their audience. You've got the opportunity, if they're an individual, for them to refer their friends, to refer somebody, one person. If they work at an organization, if they're not a entrepreneur, you've got the opportunity to be introduced into their organization. And then maybe there are 2 or 3 like additional types of services like that that are all in that same family that would make sense that you introduce them to over the 90 days. Like are you familiar with Focus at Will?
No, I'm not.
So Focus at Will is a really great, monthly service of music that you just play in background, and it's scientifically designed music to increase the speed that you get into focus and the length of time that you're able to focus. And it's a ongoing music service that all of this music is specifically engineered with these cadences and rhythm or whatever in different channels, like different types of music, spa or chill or jazz or whatever. So you're playing background music that's not just background music. This is music specifically designed to keep you in focus. That's another thing that might be a similar type of service that a lot of your readers might like to take part in. And you start to think in the after unit, as you now graduate out of that first 90 days, what other things? What if you're taking the relationship that you have with these people to a whole nother level here, where you're sort of appointing yourself as the advocate for that relationship? What are the other things? What's the category? The the other things that would make sense that somebody might be interested in taking advantage of, or things that you could introduce them to? Who else could you partner with as part of this network of people who are all kind of on the same page? And that could be be by channels. Once you identify that these people are that these are people who are entrepreneurs, and these people are, looking for leadership or personal development, that you've got opportunities to, partner with and introduce them to other things that are going to enhance them.
Yeah, it's a really good idea. As you were talking, I was kind of thinking through, like, how do we do this? So I got a concrete idea. Can we kind of hash through it?
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So because we do have those channels, it's very easy for us to, and we do them on specific days, so it's very consistent. It's very easy for us to build these segments. So one of the things that we are thinking of doing as part of our onboarding sequence itself, you pay us your $250, and we actually ask you, how we deliver this content is by sending you an email when there's a new episode up. So if you want all of them, it's every single day. If you only want sales or in marketing, check off Tuesday and Wednesday. So if we created some partnerships in each one of those categories with different products that would make sense for us to promote, then we wouldn't even really have to profile the users, because they would profile themselves. And so on a Monday, we would have a book or something else that we could promote along with, here's your summary for today, that is leadership related. And so it's kind of that. I always like to think about what's the easiest way I can do this, because otherwise it gets really, and that's kind of one of the principles behind the lifetime membership, like you pointed out. It just makes everything a lot simpler. So what are your thoughts on doing it that way?
I like that idea. I mean, if you're going to be sending people the email specifically, that within that email, there's lots of opportunities. I mean, if you look at, do you have the Shazam app? Do you know about Shazam? So Shazam is that was one of the first apps that really struck me as like magic. But it's a Shazam app is, if you're listening to music, if you hear music, you're out somewhere and you press the Shazam button, it'll listen to it and it'll recognize what it is, and then it'll bring it up. Here it is. And then here's a link where you can buy it, and here's a link to the lyrics, and here's a link to the album, all of that stuff where, when you get into a big enough list here, even just the Amazon affiliate link to the actual book on Amazon, where it's not just about bypassing buying the book, but here's the summary, but also here's a link to the book in case you really like the summary and want to get it, or that the author, if they have other things that you might be able to introduce people to those as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So the wheels are still turning. I think this is why we had this call. It's this idea. I'm thinking there's two ways to do this. One is that it could be, here's something, by Read It For Me. This is something that Read It For Me promotes, so I could do it as a corporate company type of thing, or I could brand it as something that I promote, so it's a little more personal. It's like Steve's choice, or that's not the right words, but you get the idea. So it's something that I'm promoting to them as a fellow entrepreneur.
That is a fundamental thing that you need to decide: is Read It For Me a distant corporate thing, or is it a hosted community? Is this your thing that you're going to be the host of, the personality of the person that is the master curator in a way, right?
Yes, and that's it's something that I have wrestled with. So we do have the the logos on the emails, but my picture, and I always sign the emails. So it's kind of in between. But so I'm interested in your thoughts on it. Like my opinion is, and my feeling about it is that the more personal it is, the stronger the bond between.
Well, absolutely. Even if it
innovators.
becomes a grand thing. I mean, so have you been in Canada your whole life? Did you grow up there?
I grew up here. I spent some time in the States playing hockey, but I grew up here till I was about 15. I came back after university.
Okay, great. So you remember Loblaws and Dave Nichols and President's Choice brands,
Absolutely.
You remember how Dave Nichols, and for people who are not from Canada, but Dave Nichols was the president of the biggest grocery store in Canada, but he took it on as being your guide to all the best things. He would travel the world and create these President's Choice products that were kind of had Dave's stamp of approval, and that you felt like that guy is kind of like he personified a giant brand, And I think that there's something where Read It For Me is doing all of these things, but then you're really the master kind of curator of all of this. And you're kind of you're one of us, you're an entrepreneur. You're doing this as well. It's your journey. It's almost like you've created something that is, helpful, that you would want, that you do use, as yourself. And you could almost, if you look at this after unit, this is where the revenue, the opportunities are going to come from, of what can you do to measure in the after unit the return on relationships, and that's kind of where, if you take the number of members, and even if you just take, our whole profit activator number 8 is all about orchestrating referrals. And if you look at orchestrating and measuring a situation that, for all of the members that you have, how many referrals or how many people came from people who are within that membership, like the viral sort of thing that you're talking about, and to measure that as a percentage that you have a metric on. So if you have 1,000 members, and over the even though as it's growing now, you could even measure this on a monthly metric, that this month how many people referred, how many new members did we grow from within the current membership, So if that's 5%, 10%, what's the number? 2%. How many? How can we affect that metric?
Yeah, that's great thinking. And one of the questions I have for you around that is, so we've grown almost exclusively by our partners. One of the challenges are we've grown exclusively by a small number of our partners. Yeah. And we have not. So is there another metric that, because, the average doesn't tell the story that's important for us, which is we're not doing a great job of getting the total number of partners to bring us new memberships.
So are you, say that in another way. So how like, I think what I'm talking about for your after unit is to look at the individual, look at the members, like you had said, one of the things, like the social, dynamics of this, of people sharing it with their friends, and how can you drive that metric by not sort of, affiliate. I would say that if you have different categories, like if somebody is doing a joint venture with you or doing an active affiliate promotion, that you're going to identify those people who has that potential in your during unit, right, as part of your onboarding process. But when we look at the the after unit, the individuals, that's a metric that could be, that you could encourage and grow just by paying attention to it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we're we're kind of lumping everybody together right now.
Right. You want to make
separate.
different. That for some people, this is it's a business opportunity for some of them in terms of an additional revenue stream for their current business, whether it's their blog or their podcast or their whatever with their audience. But then there are other people who are consumers, people who are not building an audience per se, but may refer, friends or associates or on a smaller number, like a referral, but not as a sort of business level affiliate partner.
Right.
And I think that once those kind of metrics, getting those set up, make it, once you have a number and you understand the number and you agree that that's what makes sense, then understanding it then gives you the opportunity to kind of engineer the things that can affect that number. Like if you listen to any of the things that I've talked about with referrals, we know that all referrals happen as a result of conversation. And so when you look at it, that three things have to happen. They have to notice that the conversation is about books or about leadership or about whatever that topic is. They have to think about you, and they have to introduce you into that conversation. And so whenever you set up to make the mechanics of that very easy, whether it's lots of opportunity for people to share something with a friend or to gift to somebody, that could be a driver of that metric. And I think in this kind of situation, I think looking on on a monthly and annualized basis to calculate the percentage of return on the monthly the number of members, because every month that number is going to be growing. Every month the cumulative membership is going to be growing, and every month you have an opportunity to see, of all the members that we joined, what percentage of them were from this after unit,
Yeah, I think that's obviously an important piece that we're missing.
Yeah. Well, I think you've got a pretty spectacular opportunity here. And I think the community that you have, if we look at Profit Activator 7 in the after unit of nurturing a lifetime relationship with people and thinking about what else could we introduce them to, right? So it's kind of the yin and the yang there of in Profit Activator 7. What are the other things that we could do to serve this group of people, whether it's, promoting other things or deeper things with the most popular authors or the authors who do have training programs or events or having events of your own, that you can start promoting, you can start holding. You've got all that kind of opportunity once you have that big audience. And so that's where in your after unit, the other revenue sources, other things that you could do, other people that you could partner with to expand the relationship that you have with your audience. It's pretty cool. You got lots of great opportunities there.
Thank you. Yeah, you brought up some really great points for me today, and give me some,
what's your summary?
Focus, which is always a challenge.
Yeah. What's your summary of your kind of quick takeaways here?
So I think one of the biggest things is for us to think about how do we get some other, whether, like you said, whether it's products, other information, other opportunities to nurture our relationship where we also make some more revenue off of our community. I think that's the number one takeaway for me. And I think the number two takeaway is getting better at measuring how our customers, and not separating those from our JV partners and people who have email lists, and seeing how well we are. I know we're not doing well, but making that a metric that we can focus on improving. So I think those are my two biggest takeaways from today.
That's awesome. Well, Steve, it's been a lot of fun hatching evil schemes with you. I quite
Thanks
enjoyed
so much, Gene. It's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks, Steve. And there we have it. Another episode of More Cheese, Less Whiskers. If you'd like to continue the conversation, you can go to morecheeselesswhiskers.com. Download a copy of the More Cheese, Less Whiskers book. You could also be a guest on the show if you'd like to hatch some evil schemes and apply the 8 profit activators to your business. Click on the Be a Guest link on the page, and I would love to hatch some evil schemes with you. If you'd like to check out Read It For Me, you can go to readitfor.me/more cheese. Have a great week, and I will see you next time.